Hi everyone. Today I'll be talking about the algae biofuel, a renewable fuel made from microalgae. It's actually one of the most promising next generation clean energy sources, and I'll be explaining how it's grown, how it becomes fuel, and why it is important for both the environment and the economy. What exactly is a biofuel? Biofuels are fuels made from living things like plants or algae. Algae biofuel is actually becoming more popular in research because algae grows extremely fast, producing a lot of oil and doesn't need a lot of farmland. They can grow in saltwater, freshwater, or even wastewater. So overall, algae is a really flexible and sustainable source for fuel. How is algae biofuel grown and produced? Algae is grown in either big outdoor ponds or enclosed systems called photobioreactors, and they only need sunlight, CO2, water, and nutrients. Through photosynthesis, algae absorbs carbon dioxide from the air and uses sunlight to grow and produce oils inside their cells. This makes them a great option for reducing carbon emissions. Once the algae has grown, the first step is harvesting them, basically separating the algae cells from the water. The oils inside of the algae are extracted. After that, the oils go through a chemical process and it turns them into a biodiesel. The leftover algae material can still be used for other things, like animal feed or energy reproduction, which lowers the amount of waste. The development status of algae. Algae isn't really fully commercial yet. It's mostly still in research with the U.S. Department of Energy and National Renewable Research Lab. They are working on improving the technology, and some of the companies have even done large testing projects. The biggest barrier right now is the cost. It is still too expensive to produce at large scales. The environmental and carbon footprint impacts. The impact of algae on the carbon footprint. Actually, it absorbs large amount of CO2 during the growth, which reduces carbon. It's up to 50 to 80% lower emissions than the fossil diesel. In total, the atmosphere gets much less extra carbon. Algae absorbs the CO2 while they grow, so overall emissions from algae, like I said, are much lower emissions than the fossil diesel. They can even use the waste from CO2 from factories, making the process even cleaner. And unlike corn or soy, algae doesn't take up farmland. The economic impact. Economically, algae has a lot of potential. They can produce 10 to 30 times more oil per acre than crops like soybeans. That means high to long-term productivity and job growth in biotechnology and clean energy fields are higher. But right now, the downside, like I said, is the cost. It is around $5 to $10 per gallon to produce, which is way too high for commercial fuel. Public communication and like communication to the public. You may see companies advertise algae as the green alternative, which is why people think it is well known. However, it is not. There are efforts to teach the public about algae biofuel, mainly through universities, government research programs, and clean energy companies. They highlight the environmental benefits and potential for carbon reduction. Still, most people don't know about algae fuel, so public awareness is low and it needs a lot of improvement. My analysis, I think that the algae biofuel is very promising, but it's not competitive enough in the economy just yet. I think people should get more informed and shown how it is worked to become popular and widely covered. Although it needs things like cheaper harvesting and larger outdoor testing because they are not ideal, I still think it is a good contender when considering biofuels. The funding plan. If funding wasn't an issue, the best plan would be to build large scale algae farms across the country. These could be paired with wastewater treatment plants and CO2 emitting industries. We would also invest in public education so so people would understand the benefits of algae fuel, and this would help push technology to full commercial use. And that is my works cited page. Thank you.